Welcome to Instant Updates Desk. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Dateline Basco, Batanes, August 7, 2025. In the far north of the Philippines, a quiet archipelago finds itself at the center of a gathering storm. The winds that once carried only the scent of salt and soil now hum with geopolitical tension, as the world's superpowers cast their gaze on these remote shores. Batanes, once a tranquil string of emerald islands, is now thrust onto the world stage, its peaceful isolation shattered by the echoes of global rivalry. Once known for its stone houses and the enduring Ivatan culture, Batanes is now a focal point in the intensifying U.S.-China rivalry, its tradition standing in stark contrast to the new realities. Headlines warn, U.S. military eyes new outpost near Taiwan, China warns against foreign meddling. The world's attention is fixed on this tiny province as the stakes grow higher. The transformation is visible, airstrips extended, new security structures rising, and joint military drills with Filipino and American troops now a regular sight. The landscape is changing, and so is daily life for the Ivatans. Batanes is no longer just a tourist paradise, it's a critical piece on a global chessboard where the beauty of the land now shares space with the machinery of defense. Its geography is key. The northernmost Philippine province sitting in the vital Luzon Strait between the Pacific and South China Sea, a gateway for both commerce and conflict. For Washington and Beijing, control of this channel is paramount. Whoever commands these waters holds a strategic advantage in the region. As Taiwan tensions simmer, Batanes' strategic value has soared, making it a potential flashpoint in the ongoing struggle for influence in Asia. The world now watches Batanes with intense focus. Journalists, analysts, and diplomats descend on the islands, seeking answers and stories from those who call it home. Will these resilient islands become a forward base in a future conflict, or can they retain their unique identity and spirit in the face of mounting pressure? The fate of Batanes and its people hangs in the balance, as the world holds its breath and the islands stand on the brink of an uncertain future. For centuries, Batanes thrived in beautiful isolation, its windswept cliffs and emerald hills untouched by the outside world. The Ivatans, resilient and resourceful, built sturdy stone houses to withstand relentless typhoons, living in harmony with the land and sea, guided by the rhythms of nature and the wisdom of their ancestors. Life moved slowly here, shaped by tradition, community, and the ever-present challenges of remoteness. Generations grew up tending fields and braving the waves, far from the noise of the modern world. But now, change is impossible to ignore. The quiet landscape is being transformed before their eyes. Basco's airfield is being rapidly upgraded, its runways extended to accommodate larger military-grade aircraft, ushering in a new era for the islands. New concrete buildings, officially labeled for disaster relief, hint at dual military purposes, their presence a constant reminder of shifting priorities. The armed forces of the Philippines have expanded their presence, now joined by American troops under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, signaling a deepening alliance. Joint military drills, once rare and almost unthinkable here, are now a routine part of daily life, echoing across the fields and hills. The rumble of construction and the sight of uniforms have become woven into the fabric of everyday existence, altering the familiar rhythms of village life. The Ivatans, once defined by their peaceful isolation, now find themselves at the epicenter of a geopolitical earthquake, their homeland thrust onto the world stage. Their quiet way of life is being replaced by the reality of their new role as guardians of the Philippines' northern frontier, watching as history unfolds at their doorstep. The transformation from sanctuary to militarized zone has been swift and jarring, leaving many to wonder what the future holds for their once sheltered home. Batanes' isolation has been shattered by global forces, forever altering the destiny of these remote islands. Batanes may look like a tiny dot on the map, almost invisible to the untrained eye, but its significance is far greater than its size suggests. In the world of military strategy, location is everything. Sometimes the smallest places can have the biggest impact on global events. The Batanes Islands sit in the Luzon Strait, guarding the entrance to the Bashi Channel, one of the world's most critical maritime choke points where the flow of ships and submarines can decide the fate of nations. This narrow channel is the main gateway for naval forces moving between the vast Pacific Ocean and the contested waters of the South China Sea, making it a vital artery for military and commercial traffic alike. Batanes' proximity to Taiwan, less than 200 kilometers, means it could quickly become a frontline staging ground in any conflict involving Taiwan, drawing in regional and global powers. From these windswept shores, militaries can monitor air and sea traffic, launch surveillance drones or position advanced missile systems, turning the islands into a forward operating base. For the U.S. and its allies, Batanes is a crucial vantage point, a watchtower to counter Chinese moves and protect vital sea lanes. For China, it's a threat, a dagger pointed at its vulnerable southern flank, capable of disrupting its access to the Pacific. A strong U.S. presence here could bottle up China's navy, limiting its global reach and ability to project power beyond its shores. Beijing sees any militarization of Batanes as a direct challenge to its ambitions, raising tensions and fueling an already volatile rivalry. Today, Batanes is a linchpin of regional security, its control potentially shaping the outcome of future conflicts and the balance of power in Asia. These rugged, windswept islands have become an unsinkable aircraft carrier in a region where every advantage counts and every piece of land matters. The world's greatest powers are watching and maneuvering each move in Batanes could tip the scales in a high-stakes game of strategy. The fate of the region and perhaps the world's next great conflict could hinge on this single dot on the map. For the Ivatan people, the military buildup brings both opportunity and anxiety. Infrastructure upgrades promise better connectivity, jobs, and access to goods and services. But the sight of foreign troops and military hardware is a constant reminder of looming conflict. Many Ivitans fear becoming targets in a war they never wanted. The arrival of outsiders is changing the fabric of their tight-knit society. There's concern that military priorities will overshadow their unique culture and fragile environment. The Ivitans are proud of their heritage and wary of being subsumed by outside interests. They hope for development that serves their needs, without making them casualties of global rivalry. Navigating this uncertain future, they strive to balance economic promise with the peril of militarization. The military surge in Batanes is fueled by a revitalized U.S. Philippines alliance. The 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty commits both nations to mutual support in case of attack. The Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, allows U.S. troops to rotate through and upgrade Philippine bases, including those near Batanes. Joint exercises like Balikatan have grown in scale, simulating defense scenarios in the region. Thousands of troops, advanced hardware, and complex drills send a clear message of deterrence. For the Philippines, the alliance means modernized defenses. For the U.S., it's a bulwark against Chinese expansion. Batanes has become a symbol of this partnership, where Manila and Washington's interests converge. The presence of U.S. forces is a tangible sign of commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. On the edge of a potential flashpoint, the alliance is more visible and vital than ever. Batanes' new infrastructure is designed for both civilian and military use. The main airport's runway is being extended, not just for tourists, but for military transport planes and even fighter jets. New naval facilities and forward operating bases are rising, improving maritime monitoring in the Luzon Strait. Barracks, storage, and humanitarian warehouses double as military supply depots. Civilian ports, upgraded for typhoons, can now service naval vessels. Advanced radar and sensors meant for weather and rescue also track foreign warships and aircraft. This dual-use approach hardens Batanes as a defensive outpost, while maintaining plausible deniability. The strategy links disaster resilience with military readiness. For locals, it means better protection from storms. For the military, a robust platform in a strategic location. Concrete and camouflage are transforming the landscape. Batanes is being fortified for both natural and geopolitical storms. The islands are now a bastion, prepared for whatever comes. The Luzon Strait, with Batanes at its heart, is a vital artery for global trade. Massive volumes of goods, electronics, oil, and more, pass through daily, linking Asia with the world. Any disruption here would trigger a global supply chain crisis, far worse than the Suez Canal blockage. Shipping costs would soar, goods would be delayed, and economies worldwide would feel the shock. Beneath the waves, undersea cables carry much of the world's internet data, making the strait critical for global communications. These cables are vulnerable. A conflict could cripple digital infrastructure across continents. That's why nations from Japan to Europe have a stake in keeping this passage open. The militarization of Batanes is watched closely in capitals worldwide. The fate of these small islands is tied to the health of the global economy. From Beijing's perspective, the military buildup in Batanes is a direct provocation. China sees the U.S. Philippines alliance and new bases near Taiwan as part of a strategy to contain its rise. Batanes as a forward staging ground crosses a red line for China, threatening its core interests. China has responded with diplomatic warnings and increased military patrols in the region. State media portray the U.S. as a destabilizing force, warning of dire consequences. Chinese warships and survey vessels now operate near Batanes, signaling resolve. This cycle of escalation, U.S. and Philippine buildup, Chinese countermeasures, raises the risk of miscalculation. A close encounter in these crowded waters could quickly spiral into confrontation. The stakes are high. A single incident could ignite a regional crisis. The world watches, hoping to avoid disaster in these tense blue waters. The future of Batanes is uncertain, its destiny tied to global rivalry. The Ivatan people must balance preserving their heritage with the realities of strategic importance. One path leads to resilience and prosperity, a peaceful bastion with modern infrastructure and cultural pride. The other path is darker, a militarized garrison, a tripwire for conflict, and a target in a superpower showdown. The world hopes to avoid this fate, but tensions keep rising. Batanes is now a barometer for U.S.-China relations and Indo-Pacific stability. The challenge: build deterrence without provoking war. For now, life goes on, but with a new weight on the horizon. The Ivitans look to the sea with both hope and apprehension. Whether Batanes remains a paradise or becomes a flashpoint depends on choices made far beyond its shores.